What's going on, Jeromes? Firing up some Q&A. Thank you, everyone who submitted questions. First up, Josh Stens. What part of Fangio's defense would you implore Flores to adopt? So it's kind of interesting. Like, Fangio is known as the blitz guy, just getting after things. And with the Eagles, with them being able to generate such a prodigious pass rush up front with just 4, he didn't have to blitz. Like, different metrics say that he either blitzed 0 or 2 times against the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, and they still got phenomenal pressure and just got after Mahomes' ass. And some beyond that, which, if you have the personnel, that's the luxury. Like, if you have the purple people eaters, like, you don't need to blitz 45% of the time, like Flores has had to do the last couple of years. Now, the Vikings' edge rushing pass rush is great, but they can't generate anything on the interior. That's why you see Pace and Cashman just sugaring that A gap so much, because they can't get a push up the middle. So you're artificially trying to get a pass rush going. And you saw, if teams know it's coming every single time, like, they can stop it, right? And for the Eagles, like, it was really cool how they basically just came out and said, this is how exactly we're going to line up. We don't think that you can beat us. Because all they did is sit in quarters for the majority of the game. So, four deep. And that's such a great luxury. And everything, because if you're consistently getting pressure on the quarterback with 4, moving the pocket, and you're sitting in quarters, you have 4 deep defensive backs that are all facing the quarterback that could step up and make plays. They were in quarters in both of the interceptions, including the Dijon pick 6. And that's exactly what the Vikings need to do. It is so much easier when you're sitting as a DB or linebacker or safety in zone when there's 7 of you, right? Your zone of responsibility is so much smaller, communication is easier, and you're freed up to make big-time plays. Like, you feel a lot more emboldened to gamble and take shots at making plays on the ball when there's 6 other defenders back there versus if there's just 4. So that's something I want to take away from. Is I love how Flores mixes things up, and I don't want him to ever change from that. But getting to a spot where you literally could tell the offense what defense you're going to run, and they can't beat you, that's going to be great. It's like the Buccaneers defenses, which Tony Dungy gave to John Gruden, where those Tampa 2 defenses were legit. You know how they're going to line up. You knew that they were not going to blitz. You knew that you're going to have to deal with Warren Sapp and Ahanatu and Simeon Rice up front. And then you got Derek Brooks and Rondé Barber and John Lynch, just Dexter Jackson just floating all over the place. You won't beat them. You won't beat them. They could tell you exactly what they're going to do, and you will still lose. I can't wait. Because, the purple people eaters were like that as well. So, yeah. Next. R-Free, OG Jerome. Is there a surprise Kwesi pre-draft move coming? Possibly trying to secure a few more mid-round picks. Who could that player be on the current roster? I don't think the Vikings trade anyone on the roster. I know that Addison is a popular name to throw about because of the suspension. I know that AVG is popular because he's entering a contract year, only signed a 2-year deal. Also, the trade value on Andrew Van Ginkel is never going to be higher, except I don't think it's that high to begin with. So you have a player who had a career year, respect, but on the wrong side of 30, and also has had injury concerns in the past. I just don't see teams moving heaven and earth to go get a very good player like Andrew Van Ginkel like that. So also, Kwesi making that move to trade up with the Texans, getting up from the second round to 24, way before the draft went down. That's something that you can do when you're moving up. I don't see the Vikings moving down in this spot until they know exactly what's going to be on board. And ironically, the Vikings do have the number 24 overall pick this year, but it was very clear Kwesi's strategy last year. Like, they were going to move up and acquire draft capital to go get a quarterback. Like, they could potentially have packaged 11 and 24 to get up into the stratosphere. Didn't happen, but it still worked out pretty damn good where the Vikings got J.J. McCarthy and Diamond Dallas Turner, right? So it gave the Vikings flexibility and options. I don't see a team setting things up in the same way. And also, it's very unique what Kwesi did, doing that trade, non-top 5 trade so early, before the draft. So I don't see a team doing that again necessarily. I think the Vikings they have a very good chance of trading down from 24, but it'll be when they're on the clock on draft night on Thursday, which is going to make the draft party so much fun. The Vikings trade out of the first round for a 2, a 3, and 2 4s, and then everyone's just like, bah. Yeah, that's what happens, man. Next, Kyle Engstrom, OG Jerome. This team desperately needs to acquire more draft picks and actually hit on them. Having said that, I really believe the Vikings will trade out of the first round when all is said and done. I think it'll have to be the right deal. And also, I think there's 4 players that the Vikings can't pass up at 24. Right? So if one of them is on the board, just draft him. Just take your guy. Right? So Michigan nose tackle Kenneth Grant, Ole Miss defensive tackle Walter Nolan. You have offensive guard Tyler Booker from Alabama, and running back Omarion Hampton from UNC. I think if any one of those 4 are on the board at 24, just take them. Yeah, but the Vikings, the thing about it is it does take 2 to tango, and I think 24 could be an interesting spot because first round you have that 5th-year option, and I think that teams wanting to get a quarterback, again, it's not a good quarterback class, but how do teams see Jackson Dart? How do they see Jalen Milroe? How do they see Tyler Shuck from Louisville? If a team is so motivated to get their quarterback, maybe they just want to leapfrog everyone and be like, all right, we're going to secure our guy. It's going to cost us an extra 4th-round pick. Who cares? Right? So, the Vikings moving down from 24. Maybe they stay in the bottom of the first round. Maybe they get back up to the top of the first or of the second, and maybe they pick up a couple 3s, a couple 4s, a couple whatever. All right. So I think that Kwesi likes his draft picks, but he's definitely traded up and down in the past with mixed results, mostly good, some kind of bad. But I think that pending on free agency, the Vikings may not have as many holes to fill as you would think. That's what she said. So we'll see what happens in the draft. All right. Next, Scola Bowl. Would you rather have Osa Odighizuwa or Milton Williams? So kind of go back and forth because they both have pluses and they both have some question marks. And they're going to be roughly the same price. Like it's going to be 19, 20 million bucks per year. It's just the cost of doing business. And Osa, he's definitely more consistently disruptive. Right. And he's played significantly more than Milton Williams. Milton, throughout most of his first 3 seasons, was a rotational guy. This year made the leap, convenient in a free agent year, etc. And the thing about Osa is that he would have to move positions. So he's in the NFL, he's consistently been a 3-tech in a 4-3 scheme, whether with Dan Quinn and then Mike Zimmer last year. And with Flores, they will run 4-man fronts, and he can be that 3-tech over the B-gap. But, I mean, there will be spots, if he wants to play on base, where he'll have to be a 5-tech. Now, he does have that positional flexibility, played all over the place at UCLA, but in general, he's been that 3-tech in the league. Milton Williams, his role is already defined. He can step in and play right away. He plays a lot of 3-tech, but also he's played a ton of 5-tech as well as they mix up fronts. He's played some straight-up defensive end as well. And Williams, you do wonder if he's a one-hit wonder, but I mean, it was a hell of a hit in the Super Bowl as well, right? And they both have roughly the same amount of career sacks. I think Osa has 13.5. Milton has 11. Well, 13 if you include the Super Bowl. And I don't know, it's close. They both have their pluses. I think if I had to choose one, I would pick Milton because I think that positional moving wise, I think there's less moving parts of Milton, and we'll just go from there. And also, Milton is significantly better against the run. So there you go. Lastly, Cody Pierce, what other content do you love to watch on YouTube? Like every morning, I start my day with you. Then watch food shorts and then gambling vids all night. So I'm a big fan of Andrew Neem, who's does poker vlogs. He's like the godfather of poker vlogs, where it's like an experience and it's really cool. I don't create poker content. I know that would be very easy to do, except I don't know. Like when I'm playing poker, I'm out there just having a good time, right? And I will actually not play in games where someone is like filming content. I'm just like, I don't know. Like I can't explain why. Just like doesn't pass a vibe check with me, So I like watching the poker content. I like watching Hustler Casino Live. Love Live at the Bike from back then. I was actually on an episode of Live at the Bike. It's kind of fun. And it's basically what I watch. Other than that, like, what else do we watch on YouTube? Oh, we watch like honest trailers and like SNL clips. Yeah, that's basically what we do. Honestly, I feel like we could just punt like everything, like YouTube TV, HBO, Hulu, Netflix, and all this stuff, and just have YouTube, and I think everyone would be fine. It's exactly what happens with kids, where we got the the Disney Plus bundle with everything, except the kids never watch anything. They're just like, oh, put on YouTube. Oh, we have to watch this guy stream and play Minecraft and be like, wow. I don't know. I criticize my kids watching people playing video games, but then I realize that all like professional sports is that we're watching someone else play a game. It's the same thing, basically. Right. Anyways, that's it. Q&A this beautiful day. You guys are the best. You know what to do. Skull production value.